Ja Morant is once again making headlines after a second video showing him flashing a gun is making its way through social media. Is this the end of his career? Is the NBA fed up with him, or can he bounce back? Welcome to another episode of Becoming with Angelina Watkins, and I'm your host, Angelina, your queen of becoming, here to help you achieve emotional, spiritual, and financial prosperity. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Ja Morant. Ja Morant is once again making headlines from a video that has surfaced showing him flashing a gun. And for those of you who don't know who Ja Morant is, he is an up-and-coming young NBA star who currently plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. All right. And he, back in March, was suspended from 8 NBA games from a video that was on Instagram showing him flashing a gun. Now here we are again, where the news broke on Sunday, where another video has surfaced where he is flashing a gun. Okay, and now he's been suspended indefinitely. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what the heck is going on. Okay, what is going on and what's going to happen to his career. All right, but before we get into that, I want to welcome you all to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time listening, I just want to let you know that I started this podcast so that we can talk about all the things that we need to discuss in order to help you become who you need to be, so that you can do what you're purposed to do, so that you can live the abundant life that you want to live, because I want to help you win at love, life, and money. All right, so I am here every Thursday, dropping an episode, dropping knowledge, just helping you develop and become that person so that you can live a happy, whole, and abundant life. If Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss another episode, and continue to come back. I promise you, you're going to love the things that we talk about. Now, let's talk about Ja Morant. Ja Morant. He is an NBA player. He's 23 years old, so he's still fresh and new and young in the NBA. He plays for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he has now twice been in headlines in the media for being in videos where he is flashing guns. And the first time this happened, he was suspended from 8 games. Now he's being suspended indefinitely as they investigate. And we have to wonder, what is going on? Ja, what is happening here? All right. What's going on with him right now is costing him his public reputation. It's costing him his NBA career and purpose. And it's costing him money. And you would think that you've got all of these things going for you. You have all of these people have these visions for your life. You are going somewhere. You've got the ability to really make a difference in the world, in the life of the NBA game, in the life of those who follow you and admire you. You have the ability to make all of this money and take that money and turn it in and use a platform that can impact and bless other people. And you're sabotaging it. You are ruining it. You're damaging it. And why? What is going on? First, I want to talk about why this is a problem, because some people probably think it's not a problem, but it is a problem. So let's talk about why it's a problem. Let's talk about why this is happening, what is causing him to do these things, and then we're going to talk about a solution. But let's first talk about why is this a problem. It's a problem because he's a role model. Whether he signed up for this or not, which most people out here who are famous and who's in the entertainment world and the athletes want to say, well, I'm not a role model. I didn't sign up to be a role model. Yes, you did. When you signed that contract saying that you were going to do play in the NBA, or that you wanted to be an actor and actress, and influence people's lives and impact people's lives, you signed up to be a role model, whether you wanted it or not. He's a role model, 23 years old, been in the NBA for a few years now. He's got people who are looking up to him, young men and women who are looking up to him, and they're saying, if he can do it, I can do it. Let me work at this. Let me do this. I can do this too. And so you've got young, impressionable minds following you and you looking at you. What example are you setting for them? What example are you setting for them? You're a role model. Let me just talk about a few statistics of the things that he's achieved, and he's only 23 years old. He has made two All-Star teams. He's made the All NBA team just 4 years into his career, and he won Rookie of the Year in 2020. So he's dubbed to be one of the greatest young players in the NBA right now. And and so like I said, it's costing him his reputation. What is this saying about you? We've getting all these accomplishments, you're getting all these accolades, but then we want to be doing things like flashing guns in videos. What does that say about who you are and the role model and the things that you are teaching our young people who are watching you and following you? The second reason why this is an issue is endorsements. He's got endorsements with Nike as well as Coca-Cola for Powerade. And in most of those contracts, they have moral clauses. What are you saying and how are you representing these companies who have invested all this money into you? Nike, you have your own shoe. Just like Jordan got a shoe, Ja has a shoe with your name on it that they're endorsing, and for both of you all to benefit. That's not looking good. That's not what Nike and Coca-Cola want to represent their companies. They're not about gun violence. They're not about, flashing guns. They're not about, what comes with guns and what's associated with guns, which is violent, which is crime, which is, drugs and, just being a menace to society. That's not how companies want to represent themselves. What are you saying about, Nike and Coca-Cola? And the third reason is the NBA. That's not something that they represent. That's not what they want the NBA stars to represent. They are about positivity. They are about, family values. They even have it in your contracts that it's not necessarily that you can't own a gun, but even if you have a permit to own a gun, you can't bring that gun into the stadium, into practices, on the bus, when you're traveling or any of that. And so what would make you think that it's okay to be in a video flashing guns? Okay? And so he's got a lot at stake here. Okay? It's costing him his reputation. It's costing him his NBA career. He's been suspended for 8 games before that cost him $699,000 salary. Now he's been suspended indefinitely as they investigate. It could cost you your career if they decide that they want to cut ties. It's costing you money because you got to pay for all of the fees and the fines of being suspended and violating whatever contracts. And then it could cost you your endorsements if Nike or Coca-Cola decide that they want to cut ties and they don't want to have anything because you don't represent their company values, and the image that they want to put out there. Okay? And so he needs to start thinking about those things. But how do we get here? How do we get here? How do we have someone who has a bright future, so talented, going places, influential, thinking that it's okay to be in videos flashing guns? And we've got to go back and think about, why does anyone sabotage their career, their money, their business, their relationships? That's what he's doing right now. He is self-sabotaging his life. He is self-sabotaging his career. He's self-sabotaging his money. He's self-sabotaging his relationships with people, his relationships with his teammates that he has to play with, who's depending on him to be there. But now you're not in the game, and they've got to do this without you. You are sabotaging relationships with your coach, sabotaging relationships with the public, okay? But what is making him do that? Why do we do these things? Because he's not the only one. We're not going to come down on him like he's not the only one who does things that you just wonder, what in the world are you thinking? But we have to look at where he comes from. We got to look at his environment in which he grew up, because I believe that he's a product of his environment. He's from Dalzell, South Carolina, and that's a small town in South Carolina, but it's known for crime. The City Statistics website said that Dalzell has a high poverty rate. And we know what comes with high poverty. High poverty usually is followed by a lot of crime. And it says that within this city, their violent crime rate is about 50% of the nation. So about 50% of the cities are safer than them, and 50% of the cities are worse than them. But their crime rate is high. And compared to the county in which they're in and the state, their crime rate is higher. It's like 48.2%, which is much higher than the county and much higher than the state altogether when we're dealing with the crime rate. And so we've got to look at where someone comes from, because we become products of our environment. What did he grow up around? What did he grow up seeing? Not just in his city, but the cities around him, in his school, and even on TV. This is the life that he knows. This is the life that he knows. And what we've got to understand is, you can take a person out of their environment, but your environment is still within you. And if you don't do the things that needs to be done to develop that person, this is what you're going to get. We take these young stars, these young basketball stars, football stars, baseball stars, whatever stars, and we want to take them fresh out of high school or maybe a couple of years into college, and we want to take them out of their environment and think they're going to behave the way that we want them to behave because we're flashing money in their face. And that's just not how it works. They have to be developed. We shove all this money in their face, and we expect them to produce and perform as a mature person who hasn't learned how to do that. I've talked before about how we get this money and we waste the money and we lose the money. Why? Because we never got the financial literacy education we needed to handle the money and handle the responsibility of these large contracts that we get. And the same goes for our mental state of being and our character and how we present ourselves and how we're showing up and how we're navigating life. If we did not get the education that we need in the personal development that we needed to be able to navigate life correctly, and to be able to present ourselves in a right manner, if we are not taught about morals and ethics, and we don't have the value set, and we're not haven't been taught about our character, then you're going to get what you get. I mean, it's like taking a lion out of the jungle, putting him on the streets of Compton, and then expecting the lion, to act like a human. That's not how it works. The lion is still going to be lion, and he's still going to roar. He's still going to attack and bite. Okay? Same thing with taking someone out of their environment. If that's what they're used to, just because you put them in another environment doesn't mean they're going to do different. They got to be taught different. They got to see different. So if we want to get different, we're going to have to teach them different. We're going to have to help them personally and professionally develop into the person that God created them to be, if we want them to do different. So here we are. He's apologized. He's taken accountability for his actions. He's taken accountability for what he's done. But what's the next steps? Can he come back from this? Can he bounce back from this? Absolutely, I think he can. But not without the right and proper guidance, counseling, therapy, and personal and professional development that he needs to be that person that God created him to be. Because let's face it, he's got talents, he's got skills, he is influential. People are looking at him. He's one of the greatest, youngest right now. And he's got a great future ahead of himself, but he's going to destroy it if he doesn't get the help that he needs to get. And so we're going to be right back here again if he doesn't get the guidance and he doesn't get the teaching and the education that he needs on how to personally develop himself, how to make better decisions, how to better healthier coping skills with what's going on, the responsibility that comes with your status and who you are as an NBA player. Because they say, to whom much is given, much is required. Much is required of him, whether he wants it or not. When he signed that contract, much is required of him, but he's going to need help. But I believe he can bounce back. I believe that he can turn this thing around. I believe that he can continue forward and make something out of himself, but not without the help. All right. I'd like to know what you think. Do you think he can bounce back from this? Do you think he has the opportunity to turn his life around, keep his endorsements, stay within the NBA, and really soar in his career? I want to know. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think about what's going on with Ja Morant. Now, y'all, I have a book that I want you to go check it out. The book is Path to Prosperity, 17 Secrets to Building Wealth. All right. And this is one of those things where I want to teach you how to build wealth. Some of us have to build it ourselves. We don't come from it. But you have the skills, just like Ja had the skills to get into the NBA so that he can make that money. Now he's got to take that money he's got, or he's received or will receive, and he's got to turn it into wealth, because right now he's working for that money. That's called rich. But we want to be wealthy where our money is working for us. So if he has the right knowledge and skills, he's going to take that money and he's going to put it to work for him. But not until after he gets that help, y'all, because remember, we haven't been taught what we need to know how to handle business. Okay. And if he's not handling his personal business, then I'm afraid to know what he's doing with his financial business. But don't be like Ja. Don't get the money and lose it. Get the book so you can learn how to get the money, protect it, and keep it. Okay? Now, where you are is not where you have to be. Your past does not define you. Ja's past and what he's done does not have to define him. You define you. So heal, transform, and pursue you.